The 5 key lessons from Robert Kiyosaki's book Rich Dad's Guide to Investing will be discussed in this video. When Robert was 12, he went for a walk on the beach with his mentor, whom he calls his rich dad. During their stroll, Rich's dad pointed to a big house by the ocean and said that he had just bought it. Young Robert was perplexed because Rich Dad wasn't wealthy at the time, and he couldn't understand how his mentor could afford such an expensive property. Rich Dad clarified that while he couldn't afford it, his business could. Rich Dad answered further questions from Robert by saying, "Well, my firm could afford it, but I couldn't." The lessons in this book were inspired by Robert's interactions with his rich dad, who helped him acquire enormous riches. Let's now examine the key lessons learned and see how we may put the ideas into practice. First key takeaway: develop resources that produce money. Even though Robert's biological father had a good career, he was never able to afford the beach mansion stated previously. According to Rich Dad, Robert's true father spent his life working away for money that eventually benefited someone else. The lesson from Rich Dad is that to amass considerable riches, you must generate your assets. Rich Dad had devoted years to accumulating his wealth through his firm. You won't get rich by relying simply on hourly pay. Warren Buffett once said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." It's crucial to invest in assets that enhance your cash flow so you can reinvest the surpluses to buy more assets. Once you have successfully built an asset that provides positive cash flow, you can leverage it to acquire further assets. The compounding effect is something you may take advantage of by doing this repeatedly. There are tax benefits and enhanced security when you invest in assets utilizing cash flow from your business rather than relying just on your paycheck. Rich Dad paid taxes on the remaining net income after buying assets with the gross income from his business. However, Robert's actual father paid taxes on his earnings and then attempted to purchase assets using his net income. Owning assets through a corporation offers better personal liability and risk protection. Second key takeaway: utilize debts as an instrument of power. Debt is a topic that generates conflicting views. Others regard it as a tool to hasten wealth generation, while some view it negatively and advise against it. There is bad debt and good debt, as Robert Kiyosaki acknowledges. The distinction is in how the debt is applied and how it affects cash flow. Middle-class people frequently qualify for more debt as their income increases, which they typically utilize to purchase pricey homes, cars, yachts, and other liabilities. This type of debt is harmful since it reduces their cash flow. This intensifies their reliance on their upcoming payment. Relying on bad debt over the long term prevents wealth creation and creates an obsessive cycle of spending and debt buildup. On the other hand, the wealthy use good debt, which produces a stronger cash flow. With a strong cash flow from assets, they can get more debt to leverage their current cash flow or buy more assets that generate revenue. Instead of producing an endless sequence, this strategy creates a positive curve. Takeaway number 3 is how to optimize expenses while reducing income. Robert started working for his rich dad when he was 9, earning 10 cents per hour for jobs like mowing the yard. When Robert asked for a raise, Rich Dad completely cut his pay. The goal of Rich Dad was to keep Robert from being reliant on an hourly wage. He thought that when individuals are paid for their labor, they are taught to think like workers. Employees frequently hold the view that to improve their financial situation, they should maximize their revenue and cut back on their expenses. Rich Dad argued the opposite, though. He placed a strong emphasis on maximizing certain types of costs while decreasing personal income. You may teach young Robert how to be less dependent on a salary by decreasing your income. Instead, he suggested reinvesting your company's excess cash and limiting personal withdrawals. It's critical to concentrate on expenses that advance your organization when trying to maximize expenses. The kinds of costs that can advance your career are those for books, seminars, learning new skills, hiring help, or buying assets. According to Rich Dad, the reason why most people lose money and go bankrupt is because they continue to think like poor people, who want large incomes and cheap spending. By adopting this viewpoint, you'll steer clear of a scarcity mindset and put your attention on growth chances. Takeaway number 4, obtain the 3 essentials. According to Rich Dad, to succeed as an investor and business owner, you must have 3 things: education, experience, and excess money. For a thorough understanding of business operations, industry behavior, and financial statement analysis, education is crucial. You get experience by establishing your own business, making improvements along the way, and trying again. The third E, excess money, follows logically after obtaining a strong education and experience. You can maintain control over your assets throughout this phase, use cash flow to your advantage, buy more assets, and hasten the process of wealth creation. Above all, take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, even if they don't include moving up the corporate ladder. 5. Begin now. The fifth lesson learned: begin right immediately. Robert now advises following Rich Dad's advice and starting his first business as a side hustle. While continuing to work at your current job to cover your essential expenses, put all of your spare cash, time, and energy into growing your business. Without hesitation, create, experiment, fail, learn, and repeat. As Rich Dad highlighted, you just need to be right once to succeed as a business owner. You don't need to be correct 51% of the time. Make sure you have the determination to succeed. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel for more helpful financial advice. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Until next time, have a great day.